that a number of things follow from here, and that's what makes me confident enough to just scream to you all these things, because there are a number of remarkable consequences of doing this. We have an objective procedure for transforming prior information into prior distributions. We have a new understanding of what data prior and likelihood means. In fact, if you look at my Beyond base, that wasn't published the last procedure by any chance, but it's very easy to totally available. Just click me and take a look. Then, from here it follows also that the conjugate priors for the exponential family, if you think of them as scalar functions on the manifold, which is not the same as the conjugate family of exponential families usually, because it's relative to the right volume element, so it changes things. It's not as easy to compute as before, but it's the true one, the one that you want. Then that comes as an that comes straight as a special case of this thing here. In fact, from here you have the notion of antidata. Yes, antidata. There are some priors here that act as if, when you take the alpha to be 3, they annihilate 3 of the data points. You have a notion of a virtual data. You have an optimality of priors with following power laws. That is very desirable because people are discovering more and more that power laws are the right way of encoding distributions on graphs, and power laws are appearing everywhere. Well, they have followed from here. This is about evaporation of the base and frequencies divide. No more problems here. I mean, just the problem was that they were putting priors on parameters. That's the wrong thing. The parameters are only coordinate systems. It's like trying to discover whether you're using with your data, whether you're using spherical coordinates or cylindrical coordinates. Well, it's up to you. Things have to be completely invariant under which way you choose to describe your things. The only thing you see is data. You're not going to see these coordinate systems anywhere. I claim that I make a little dent at the mind-body problem, because if you take what I told you seriously enough, you see that there's a problem with ontology. So this means that it's all epistemology, it's all of it, because there's nothing. In fact, I would say that if a tree falls in the woods and it makes a sound and there is no one there to hear it, there is no sound, there are no trees, there is no universe. The universe is a human artifact as much as I know. That's what I'm claiming. I think is very hopeful, because we're making it up as we go along, and it's not a fixed truth. I mean, tomorrow we are going to change it because it's more convenient, and there's nothing that we are converting to. This is not God-given truth. It's not God-given mathematics. I mean, I always say that even mathematics is couched in metaphors. We have a metaphor of infinity. And in fact, it's the same metaphor of infinity that we use in all mathematical theorems. We have for example, something that I always say, well, they tell you, somebody like Penrose will tell you, well, no, this is God-given. I mean, this is Platonic canon of mathematics. Look at the Pythagorean theorem, for example. It's just the same as the Greeks. I claim it's not. Pythagorean theorem is a function of time as well. At the time of the Greeks was a statement derived from triangles that physical triangles. Now, the Pythagorean theorem is a statement in Hilbert space. The Greeks had no idea about that. It evolved as a function of time. So math is also a human artifact. Of course, that doesn't mean that everything goes. This is not New Agey stuff, right? No, I can believe anything I want, homeopathy or not. There are some constraints, of course, but the human touch is there. And I think that anyway, in fact, it's very simple. I mean, this is the general algorithm that I claim. It's just maximum ignorance, subject to whatever you know. That is an honest prior. The priors that come from here are the only priors that are really honest. I mean, I'm saying, this is what I know. I play poker with my cards open. Well, I'm going to maximize the ignorance of what I don't know subject to whatever I know. That gives you everything that makes sense. If you don't do that, you're cheating. And in fact, we're going to have a MaxEnt conference the next week. I want to ask you, every time somebody's giving a talk here and said, well, this is the prior I'm using, you say to yourself, what entitles this person to use that prior? Could that be that by using that prior, you're imposing things that you don't know, you're shifting things in the direction that you don't. It may be that it doesn't matter because you have enough data and then it washes out. But what if it doesn't? How do you know how much you're biasing your result? By imposing these assumptions that you have no evidence for. Well, I claim that I've solved that problem. You have to use one of these priors. Always. They are the only things that are honest. Because they maximize what you don't know, subject to what you know. So, I want to tell you a little story about this. I've shown this before. This is Kevin Robbins, my former PhD advisor. This is a picture taken at the time that I was defending my PhD thesis on maximum histograms at Columbia University. I took a camera because he was a famous person, so I wanted to have a picture with him. But he said, no, you take a picture of me. Okay. And he always had this, he was a very cool guy, and he had this thing in his room all the time. So you take a picture with me with this. At this picture, right next to him, there was the other members of my commission, of my PhD, but I erased them, and I put just, this is basically his blackboard that was there, things that, with his writing. Then, old age and trickery will overcome youth and skill.
In the old days or the youth?
Well, listen to me. I returned the favor at the time of when he died. I went to, I was an usher at his memorial service, and then I was around with this picture, showing it to everybody. In the long run, youth wins, right? However, now I'm old enough that I'm showing this to my students. So I'm more and more coming to terms with this statement here. So that's what I wanted to say. It's an outrageous statement, but please prove me wrong. Thank you very much.
Okay, so questions, remarks?
Sir, I'm not going to take much time.
Easy.
Okay. I will be short this time. I want to prove you wrong. You said that if the
questions, remarks?
Sir, I'm not going to take much time.
Easy.
Okay. I will be short this time. I want to prove you wrong. You said that if the tree fell and there is nobody to hear there is no tree that fell and there is no sound. Okay, now imagine that there is only one person left on the earth. Only one person. And that person is dead.
Is dead?
Dead. Can't hear.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the tree fell, the vibration in the air, and evidently he can't hear.
No, he cannot hear. He can make inferences that if he ever heard in his past, he can make inferences that if I was able to hear, I would have heard. I would have heard it. But he's deaf, so he didn't.
He can't hear it. So
but he hears the consequences of the tree falling in some way, but not this, he doesn't hear the sound.
So in this
You told me so. He's deaf.
In this hypothetical case, it's different from yours example, right? So in my case, when only one person is deaf, you wouldn't claim what you claimed before, that there is no tree that fell and there's no sound, or you would.
Now I'm saying if there is nobody in the universe everywhere or machine that is able to have perception of any kind, what does it mean to be a universe? In fact, the universe is something that it's just a consequence of the things we talk about. In fact, it's only talking. You can only talk about it, and I can only talk, and that's what we can all do. We talk with mathematics and so on, but it's just talking.
So your statement would be more acceptable if you said that if there's nobody out there to hear the sound and make inference, it just doesn't make sense talking about it.
In fact, what I'm saying also is that the ultimate theoretical vacuum negates itself. In fact, look at physics. When you try to look at the vacuum, or you always have an observer there, the eye. And when there isn't any, there isn't any to invent God. It's the ultimate observer. It's nobody there, but it's always God's eye there, holding the existence of the universe.
Like
that kind of,
that kind of stuff is for philosophers, and like James said, philosophers don't have to do anything.
I'm sorry.
Worthwhile.
No. I disagree. In statistics, philosophy is super important. It makes the big difference. In fact, which prior you're going to use, one or the other, depends on the philosophy, and then in other areas maybe it doesn't matter. It just doesn't. But here has a concrete consequence.
Carlos, a follow-up to that question. Please would you define an observation by a human being as distinct from any other interaction? At what point is it made?
You're talking about the collapse of the wave function?
No? You mentioned the wave function, not me.
No. I'm saying that, you can say, for example, this is what people are saying also. Okay, you don't need an observer really, because you can say, well, even if there's nobody there watching the cat dying or alive, as long as there's the possibility, the particles are watching it. But I say that doesn't really matter, because you see, if you put in perception at the level of a particle, a fundamental particle is a highly theoretical object. In fact, it's 99.99% theory. The existence of a photon is something like no ontology whatsoever in that kind of thing. So that's yes, you need, at the point that we know now, we need an observer. This is what I'm saying is that all the meaning and all the observation and all that is given in the probability distribution. The probability distribution encodes all the meaning there is. In the case of quantum mechanics, it's just the wave function that encodes all the information and meaning there is. Well, in the case of data, not just in all data whatsoever, the meaning is given by that P that is always there but hidden.
But would you please define an observation distinct from an interaction?
Observation. Well, it depends. You need an conscience, as long as we know now.
Would you please define consciousness?
Probably I'm going to propose something. I think that
I'll be here for the whole.
exactly. This is exactly what I wanted. Thank you. I think that this kind of discussion you wanted.
I have other technical questions, mathematical.
Yeah.
Not philosophical.
Okay. Just the last one.
So I have two small questions, mathematical, or maybe questions and remarks.
Yeah.
One question is, do you consider this entropic prior as a vacuum of information as something what is analogous or even more closely connected to the vacuum in quantum field theory, because also the expressions are similar, and it's, well, possibly its role. And the second question, or maybe remark, because you told that I delta is a unique entropy or relative entropy or divergence functional, which is invariant under sufficiency maps, but it's not true on the level of finite distributions.
The level of what?
On the finite measures. It's true for the normalized measures, but for finite measures, such sentence is true for G-sharp divergence. So it's not I delta is not unique for finite measures.
Only for
finite measures, not normalized, but for finite. For normalized, it's unique under sufficiency maps, but not for.
You may be right about this. Yes, I think you're right.
Okay, so we are going to thanks again, Carlos, and so go through the next talk. Okay, I think that Carlos will stay here.